Your kids feel everything. Stop trying to protect them. Stop trying to protect them from the truth. They absolutely feel everything. I don't know why we do this, but we feel like it's going to make it safer for them. They feel everything you feel, they just can't articulate it to you. Children grieve deeply. They just don't have the words for it. So they do what they see you do. They stay quiet, they don't share it, they don't talk about it. They can't put the emotional word to the thing that they're feeling. So sometimes they act out. Sometimes they cry. They may be crying 1 minute and the next minute they're playing on the playground like nothing happened. That's not them getting over it. That's them surviving it. They're surviving it piece by piece because that's what kids do. That's what we do. They do when we don't tell them or teach them what to do. What are you supposed to tell your child when you don't have the answers? How do you show your grief without scaring your child half to death? Those are the exact things that we're going to be talking about this Tuesday. This Tuesday, we're talking about how to help your children grieve. Hey, friends, this is Sharon Brubaker. I know you've been listening to the podcast, but I want to let you know there's a masterclass coming this Tuesday, April 28th, how to help your kids grieve. If you are a parent and you're grieving and you're trying to make sure your kids don't feel what you feel, then you need to be there on Tuesday. Because the thing that you are trying to protect them from is the one thing that you need to allow them to do. You need to allow your children to grieve. Hear me out. Here's the other thing. The number one way that you can help them is do your own damn grief work. Do your own grief work. Teach your children to grieve by being the griever. You will never protect them enough. Isn't that crazy? We think we're going to protect them. And we can never protect them enough. Hey, are you trying to protect them or are you trying to avoid your own grief? Because if I don't go over there and talk to them, then I'm not really dealing with this. I want to talk to you about how to talk to your kids about the loss, what things to say. I want to talk to you about the things that they're going to try to perceive that this grief is. I'm also going to talk to you about the adult child. Friends, you're never going to be able to fix this for them. I'm so sorry. And I can't fix this for you. No one can. No one is going to come along and fix this for you. You have to do this for yourself. Because the main thing that you're trying to protect them from is the exact thing that they need. They need to learn how to move through this pain. No one is just going to do this on their own. Because I have a question for you. Who taught you how to do it? Who taught you how to do this grieving thing? And you never learned, right? You were never given the formal book on how to do it. I wasn't. And now I'm expected to teach this to my children. That's the thing that's so crazy. We were never taught how to do this, but yet we're expected to teach it to our own kids. That is absolutely crazy. And that, my friend, is where grief breaks down. That's where it breaks down. Parents don't avoid their child's pain because they don't care. They avoid the child's pain because it's too much. Here's the other thing. Think about this. They're looking at you and all they're seeing is pain. You're looking at them and all you're seeing is pain. And the both of you don't know how to help one another. You see your child hurting. And all your brain is saying is, make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. It's not telling you, hey, just go sit with them. Just go be with them. Just sitting with them will help them to understand it. No, you don't do that because that's not what your brain is saying. Your brain believes this is danger. Your brain believes you're going to cause damage. Your brain believes something is wrong. So we got to start with the truth. Your grief is not danger. It's not dangerous. Here's the truth most parents don't want to face. You're not just protecting your child from the pain, you're also trying to protect yourself from watching it. Ouch! Because it hurts to see your child hurting. It makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel out of control. So you distract, you change the subject, you move around, you act strong in front of them, you tell them that they're in a better place. You rush past it so you don't have to talk about it. And that's not protection. That's interruption. You're interrupting the grief that they are already on. You're interrupting their grief journey. Your child doesn't need the pain removed from them. They need you to help them learn how to move through it. And that's what we miss a lot. Clarity, when you give clarity on this grief healing journey, is so much better than confusion. When they can trust you, it will be safer for them than the silence that we've been putting on them. So let's talk about this. Let me ask you this. What are you really trying to shield them from? So let's strip it down, all the way down. You're not just shielding them from the sadness. You're trying to shield them from feeling out of control, from feeling scared. You're trying to shield them from feeling alone. You're trying to shield them from feeling the pain that you can't fix. And underneath all of that, my guess is that you don't trust that you can handle it either. That's my guess. You don't trust that you'll be able to handle this either for yourself or for them. But kids don't need it to be perfect. They don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present, crying, snot running down your nose, broken, telling them that you don't know what to do, that you don't know how you're going to do this. That's what they need. Because, my friends, that's what they see. They see what sadness looks like every time they look at your face. They know what sadness looks like every time they talk to you. But you know what they don't know? They don't know what healing looks like. And does it look different? So I'm going to advise you to stop pretending that you're okay. Every time you see your child, you sit up straight. Stop that. Stop performing strength to them. Perform grief. Be honest. Because here's what happens when you shield them too much. They grow up thinking pain is something to avoid instead of something that needs to be processed. And then one day, they're sitting where you are, and they're grieving the loss of their mother or their father, and they have no tools to deal with it, just like you. They have no tools to process this grief. You are not raising a child who will avoid pain. You are raising a human who will experience it. So the question is, will they know what to do when it shows up for them? Because anyone who lives long enough on this grief healing journey will have multiple grieving experiences throughout their life. If this is hitting you, good. I'm glad it's hitting you, because this is where the parent grieving shifts. Not by doing more, but by you telling the truth. Me telling you the truth is the start. It is absolutely okay for you to cry and break down in front of your child. It is absolutely okay for you to allow the dishes to pile up because you just can't do them. It is absolutely okay for you to stay near your child when the grief gets uncontrollable. What did you learn about grief as you were growing up? What emotions do your child is showing you right now do you believe are the hardest for you to look at? Which ones are the hardest for you to look at? Friends, stop trying to protect your child from the truth. We soften the death because it makes us feel better. We use nice, soft words to make ourselves feel better. And when we're doing that, guess what? They don't hear comfort. They hear confusion. They don't hear, oh, mommy wants to make this comfortable for you, so she's going to change the wording around a little bit. When you say we lost them, they go looking for them. When you say they passed away or they went to sleep, they don't hear comfort, they hear confusion. But when you say the word dead or died, they know it's the truth because it came from you, and they trust you. And they trust you because it came from you. Friends, when I tell you this, when I tell you this, when I tell you this, your child is watching everything that you model. You are the model for how to grieve for your child. You are the model, not your words, not your behavior. If you hide your grief, they will learn to hide theirs. If you tell the truth, they will learn to tell the truth and talk about grief. It doesn't need to be perfect words. It just needs to be honest. Your child is watching you. When I was 16 years old, my aunt died of a brain aneurysm. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when the phone rang uncontrollably. I thought my parents would answer it. And to be honest with you, back then, it was in the 70s. So we only had one house phone, one kitchen phone. And my room was right across from my parents. And I went running down the hall to the kitchen phone and answered the phone. It was my uncle. The same time I answered the phone, my dad answered the phone. I just had enough time to say hello. And then my dad answered the phone, right? And it didn't ring 4 times. It probably rang 12 times because it woke me up. I don't know why I didn't run into my parents' room. My uncle was calling to say that my aunt had passed away, but he didn't say that. He said she was hemorrhaging. And at the time, she was my favorite aunt. She was so beautiful and so gorgeous. I thought she was a model, and I wanted to be like her when I grew up. And I remember thinking, hemorrhaging, oh, that's a female thing. They can fix that. That was a thought that I had. And I hung up the phone. I listened to him and my dad talk for a minute, and then I hung up the phone. My parents didn't come back in the morning when we got up. They were not there. Must have been summertime. I don't remember what time of year it was, so it must have been summertime. And so we didn't have school. The phone rang around 8:30 in the morning. It was my mom, and she told me that my aunt had a brain aneurysm. It was the first time I'd heard that word. But let's go along. So she died about 3 days after that. Let's go along about 2 weeks later. We're going through the funeral and all of that. My parents were gone all the time. They were always helping my uncle. They were helping him plan the funeral. They were helping him prepare for everything that was needed. They weren't coming home. I was 16. My brother was 18. I had a sister that was 15 and a sister that was 12. And then Erica was 6. They weren't coming home. We were taking care of the littles, my brother and I, and every time I saw them, they weren't crying. They didn't sit us down and say, hey, this is grief. This is what it's going to feel like. This is how you're going to go through it. They didn't do any of that. I was 16 years old and I had just lost an aunt that I'd had an amazing experience with a few months before that. An aunt that I thought in my mind, I wanted her to be the godmother of my children. And I lost her. And they didn't come and sit with me and talk to me about it. And so I was left to figure this out on my own. And let me tell you, it was a struggle. And your kids will be left to figure this out on their own. Hiding your pain hurts them. Your parents think, well, if I don't cry, they'll be okay. When I talked to Erica about this now, she said she knew something bad had happened because all the adults in her life, us and my parents, were whispering. Every time she came into the room, we were whispering. We think the thought, if I cry, they won't be okay. The next memory that Erica has was being at the funeral and having my dad pick her up and say goodbye to T. Carol. Awkward and weird. Sure, she didn't even know what a funeral was. We've talked about it on the podcast. You think if you don't cry, they won't feel it. They feel it. And you think you're the only one hurting. They're hurting. And this, my friend, is exactly how isolation starts. This is how isolation through grief starts. And it is time for us to break that bond of isolation. Let them see your sadness in a safe, grounded way. Talk to them. Don't shut your feelings down. When a child says, I'm scared, don't tell them not to be scared. Tell them you're scared too. They're looking to you for the answers. When they say, I'm scared, and you tell them, don't be scared, you just told them that their feelings are wrong. And that's what I want to be talking about this week on Tuesday, April 28th. Instead, when they say, I'm scared, say, I get it. I'm here for you. And you want to know the truth? I'm scared too. But the two of us are going to do this together. Friends, simple truth. Children need simple truth. And that simple truth is going to build trust. Grief is emotional. It's not logical. Your brain is not going to be able to figure this out, but your brain is going to tell you to shield your kids from this. Your kids are not trying to make sense of grief. They're trying to make sense of how to survive this grief. Their feelings are going to swing from hard, soft, broken, scared. They're going to go all over the place. And that's okay. Your job is to hold it, to hold their grief, to hold their pain. We're going to be talking all about this on Tuesday, how to set them up to be safe, how to answer the silent questions when they ask silent questions. You don't need to be the one that keeps doing all the talking. You can be the listener too. This isn't about fixing the grief from your child. It's not about that. Right? How to stop protecting them. How to understand that your kids are feeling everything as well. Your child is watching you. They're watching you grieve. They're watching every single thing you do. Okay, friends, this Tuesday, April 28th, we're going to be doing this together. You and I, walking through parenting while grieving, how to help my child grieve. I'd be honored to see you. Go to the link, griefdiscovery.com. Click that link and sign up. It's a $7 masterclass. If you cannot make 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, sign up anyway. It will be sent to you and you'll get the copy. I'm truly honored to walk this journey with you, your child, hold your hand and help you understand this grief. The number one thing that we can do for our child is to learn how to grieve. Because when we learn how to grieve, we start talking grief. When we talk grief, we can talk to our kids and have deep conversations with them. All right, friends, I'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next podcast.